I want to very deeply thank the NFTC for this award tonight. One of my great professional pleasures over these many decades has been to work closely with the NFTC, which has been an unyielding and courageous supporter of constructive trade policies and a great ally and confidant and compatriot of all of us who have labored in these fields. So congratulations to the NFTC, particularly as it approaches its 100th anniversary. Special thanks too to Bill Reinsch, with whom I've worked for many years, who's had the helm of the council over the last 10+ years. It's a deep privilege to have this award given by his NFTC tonight. And thanks to Alan, with whom I did labor in the vineyards. This is not quite like the Academy Awards, but there are two other people that I want to thank, and Alan actually already mentioned them. I have been incredibly fortunate going back to my period in government, my last period in government at the Treasury, and throughout my 30+ years at the Institute, to have a trade team that I think, as Alan said, is literally unsurpassed. The two key members of that team are here tonight, Gary Huffbauer and Jeff Schott. They were with me at Treasury. We did the subsidy code in the Tokyo round. We've done an enormous amount of work together since then, and since they're responsible for so much of my success, I'd like them to stand, and I'd like you to give them a big hand. Time is short. Senator Wyden is here to give the presentation of the evening, so I will close by making only one substantive remark. Can't go away without making at least one substantive remark. Alan already mentioned a couple of the initiatives that I was involved in over the years. And the lesson I take away from actually my whole set of experiences, but particularly the two that I will mention, is that in the pursuit of open markets internationally, the pursuit of free trade and investment, the pursuit of a constructive and reasonably successful global economic system, one has to be patient and persevere. And I give as the two examples that I've been involved in the ones that Alan mentioned. In the year 2000, the Minister of Trade of Korea, Han Duck-soo, who many of you know, later became Prime Minister, Ambassador to the United States, came to me and suggested that we at the Institute do a major study of a possible free trade agreement between Korea and the United States. As Alan said, the issue wasn't even being discussed in either country, and to the extent it was totally rejected. Korean business was against it. American agriculture said they'll never open their agricultural market. It's impossible. But the Korean trade minister had a vision, asked us to do a study. We did it. Jeff Schott, in fact, was the lead on that. It began the discussion, which took 5 years until the negotiation was launched. Long story short, here we are 12 years later with a Korea-United States free trade agreement, probably the most ambitious that the United States has ever signed, and a precedent for all the others that are going on now in Asia. It took 12 years, but it was surely worth it. On the Trans-Pacific Partnership, I began that enterprise, as Alan said, as chairman of something called the APEC Eminent Persons Group back 20 years ago. I'll never forget a couple of times that I was talking with President Clinton about it, and he said, well, Fred, you know, I'm president, but you're eminent. And he seemed a little jealous, but that was his good political sense. But we did lay out a vision for free and open trade in the Asia-Pacific region. It was endorsed by the heads of government back then at the Clinton Summit in Seattle in '93, the famous Bogor Declaration in Indonesia a year later. It took a while to get going, but here we are almost 20 years later, and at least half, maybe 2/3 of that vision is, as Alan said, about to be realized with successful negotiation of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And my bet is, when that succeeds, it will then lead to the next step, a truly free trade area of the Asia-Pacific, and the whole vision will be implemented over a period of a quarter century. As Alan said, I'm continuing to work on it, doing studies of a U.S.-China agreement, a U.S.-India agreement. Both of those seem pretty far reaches at the moment, but based on what's happened before, I have faith it'll happen. The basic reason is that those of us who work on these issues in this direction have intellectual and political correctness on our side. The ideas that underlie free trade, a cooperative international economy, are so powerful that with all the fits and starts, all the backsliding that we see all the time, they do ultimately prevail. That is the message of the last half century. I think it'll continue to be the message going forward. I thank the NFTC for recognizing my modest role in it. I applaud the Council itself for all it's done and will continue to do to keep those dreams moving forward. Thank you all very, very much.